Hey, Vision Chasers, Dr. Bird here, reminding you that life's not fair. Deal with it. Life's not fair. You got to deal with that. Now, I know that that is a very blunt way to put that truth to you, but I care about you, my Vision Chasers community. I care about you, and that is a truth that we have to embrace. We have to embrace, and we can spend time complaining about that, but ultimately ultimately we have to move on. We have to adjust. And that's why it's important that we put in the proper planning each and every day to win our day, making more good decisions than bad decisions. We're making sure that our habits are on point. We're doing the things daily that we need to do to move closer to our vision of success. In the book that I'm going through and sharing with you, Overcome by Jason Redman, he tells this story, the story of two gentlemen who prepared their room for inspection. It was spotless and they were ready to go. They were just standing by waiting for their room to be inspected, and they were doing so confidently because they knew they had done everything right. All the crevices and the corners and all the hidden places, everything was tight. They were ready. And so two higher ranking officers come in for the inspection, and they're like, oh, okay, this is looking pretty good. And then one of them says to the other, hey, looks pretty good in this room, doesn't it? And the other inspector, he proceeds to take out a handful of sand from his pocket and drops it on the floor. And he says, well, I don't think so. There's some sand right here. And the civilian in me was like, oh, you cheater, that's not right. That's not fair. And I know you're probably thinking the same thing because you're a civilian like me, most likely. It's just like, oh, how could you do that? Oh, that's so wrong. An injustice has been done. Needless to say, they had consequences for that. You can't have sand on the floor in your room when they're doing an inspection. So that's not good. So I think definitely as unfair as that was for the men and women in our military, they need that drilled into their head in such a way, because it's a matter of life and death and what they do. And we're all so thankful each and every day for what they do for us, protecting our freedoms and keeping us safe. But yeah, that has to be drilled in their head a certain kind of way, that life's not fair. The enemy's not going to fight fair. And so I get that after I was just really, I felt some kind of way about that. That's cheating. That's not fair. You can't do that to them. But that's the way they need to learn that lesson. And ladies and gentlemen, with us, thankfully, we're not talking about life or death situations. But, when you're chasing your vision of success, that's important to you. It's important to you, and it's important to me. I want you to be able to get to your vision of success and beyond. But as you're on your journey, you have to understand, you have to realize that life's not fair, and you have to deal with it. And that's one of the lessons that I'm having to reiterate to my son on a consistent basis, that, life's not fair. We've got to adjust. We've got to take that in. Sure, there's going to be some feelings that we feel as a result of life treating us a certain way, as a result of just experiencing unfairness. We've got to take that in, feel what you feel for a moment, just for a moment. And then we've got to strategize. We've got to figure out how, what do we learn from this? How do we move forward? How do we get off the X, as we say in the book? And that's what that's what it's all about. Once we experience what we already knew, that life is unfair, we've got to move forward. You're a vision chaser. You've got to find a way to move forward. So I want you to reflect on that, think on that. I'm sorry that life is that way, but it just is. And how we respond, that dictates whether or not we're going to move closer to our vision of success and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. And Vision Chasers, until we meet again, please keep chasing the vision.